King Georges is a film about a very famous French chef and his kind of struggles that he goes through to let go of his restaurant that he's had for 40 years. And it's also kind of about a generational shift. He tries to hand the reins off to a younger chef. Georges is a titan in the food world, but I think a lot of younger foodies these days don't necessarily know who he is because he came around before the era of celebrity chefs on, with cable TV shows and stuff. And so I was really hoping that I would be able to introduce him to this younger generation who might know Daniel Boulud or Thomas Keller, who are in the film, but they might not know their godfather. Growing up in the Philadelphia area, you know Georges Perrier, you know Le Bec-Fin. And so in 2010, I heard that he announced he was thinking of closing the restaurant, and I thought, well, that's historic. If I could just catch him in the kitchen while he was still cooking and making his sauces, which is what he was most well known for, that would be like catching Michelangelo painting a ceiling somewhere, before his art was gone. I started filming when I heard that he was thinking of closing the restaurant, and really it was very piecemeal in the beginning because as soon as I started filming, he announced he was not closing the restaurant. So I didn't know what to do, so I kept filming. But in a way, as a documentary filmmaker, you realize that the longer you follow a story, the more of an arc you get. And so in the editing room is where it really all came together. And the editing process was really when I was working on it, 24 hours a day for nearly a year. We've gotten standing ovations everywhere. As soon as Georges walks out, people start crying. I mean, it's been very emotional. And usually we get one person who stands up during a Q&A and doesn't have a question, but they say, I just want you to know how much this film moved me. And because it's not just a film about food, it's really a film about a person going through a major transition in life and coming to terms with letting go this career that he had for 40, 50 years. You really have to love it because it can be really hard in any part of the process. The fundraising part, the production part, there could be like a tornado that blows through and destroys your whole story. Like anything could happen. I also just love that every few months you get to kind of become a mini expert in a subject. And so I love going from subject to subject and immersing myself in, the food world or the film world or the history world, whatever subject I'm focusing on. To me, when I watch a great documentary, what's so inspiring about it is that it's like it finds the art in life. It brings life, mundane things to a higher level. And when I was in college, my school didn't have a film program, but they did start having the beginnings of a few classes here and there. We watched a bunch of films from Nanook of the North to this film Silver Lake Life, which was about a couple and one of the partners was dying of AIDS. And it was so beautiful though. And there was just something in the artistry of that film that took little things that they would say to each other and made it just so much more artistic and heightened than normal life.